right, everybody, we're back with another session, session 4. And last session we talked about inflammation, right? And if you didn't get a chance to check that out, make sure you do, because inflammation is a huge part in weight loss. And so some of you right now may be dealing with a lot of inflammation in your body and you don't even know it and realize it. But there are a lot of things, just in summary, there are a lot of things that we do to our bodies and that's so damaging or whatnot, and our body thinks that it's under attack or whatnot, and our immune system initiates a response, and it sends inflammation, and now, which is how it's supposed to work. But some of you have chronic inflammation, which is just a lot of swelling that's going on. So make sure that you check that out. If you are new to the channel, please make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube. I am broadcasting simultaneously on all of my social media outlets. So, make sure that you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure that you follow me there, all right? So that you won't miss out on any of the content that I'm actually posting. I'm also on TikTok as well, so make sure that you're there. But on YouTube, make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so that you'll be notified when I'm posting new content. And also, too, if you want to support the channel financially, here's the address for that. There's a lot that goes into preparing these particular videos on the back end or whatnot, and so there's a lot of research and things like that, working our butts off as YouTube content producers or whatnot. So make sure that you show some love. You don't have to, but it's definitely better to give than to receive. I had to throw that in there. But if you didn't get a chance to check out the inflammation video, make sure that you do your own research. I encourage you to do that. Also, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, not trying to be, not a life coach or any type of fitness person or anything like that. This is just from my own personal experience, and also too from the research that I've been doing throughout the actual process and what actually worked for me. And hopefully the whole goal is hopefully that this video or these sessions jolts you a little bit to go ahead and start your own journey or whatnot, because health is important. So losing that weight, and I know how it is, as you can see in my video before, how big I was and things like that. I got up to at one point when I stepped on the scale years ago, it was like 392, and I was in bad shape. I'm sorry, not 392. Woo! Not 392. It was 292, right? And I was in bad shape. So, but now I'm down, and I actually got a little surprise for you guys. Check this out. Right, I finally hit my weight goal, right, and I'm super excited about that. I finally hit my weight goal, and it's been a long time coming. As you guys know, as of January, I went on a journey and whatnot to get down to 230 pounds, and I've actually done that. And so, but guess what? I got a new goal that I'm going after now, right? So I think I want to try to go down, 10 more pounds, and so we're gonna see how that works out or whatnot. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't seen the scale this low in a long time, and it's feeling really good, because I don't feel like it's a struggle. I don't feel like that I'm having mental breakdowns because I'm missing the foods that I once used to eat that caused a lot of inflammation or put a lot of weight on me and things like that. So it's really exciting. So it's really exciting. And so so I wanted to show you guys that too. But just piggybacking a little bit about the inflammation before we move on, make sure that you do your own research on anti-inflammatory foods that fights inflammation. There are a lot out there, but just a few. You got your leafy greens, the wild caught salmon and things like that, the fruit, the pineapple, the celery, watermelon, things like that. So make sure to do your own research though, okay? All right, so in this video, right, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna actually tell you what diet I actually did. And I think we're ready for that. Those other videos gave you an opportunity to get your mind right and things like that, and get the, the focus, and get you thinking about some things, and also too researching, right? And so just don't take what I say for word for word or whatnot, but go ahead and do your own research. Right? Don't take what I say to be the gospel. Just, do your own research, add to it. The information that I got has been over the years, right? And so I'm excited about it. I'm excited to share it. But this video is probably going to be just a little bit shorter than normal, because I don't want to give you too much. But all right, so how did you lose the weight, Cephas? I'm glad you asked, right? So it was the ketogenic diet, right? The ketogenic diet. Why did I choose that, right? So it was a lot of reasons why. So there was a lot of seeds that were planted first before I even decided to go on a journey. Because I tried diets before, and then I'll get to a point where I will plateau, and then it's just like, I can't lose anymore. And so but getting to the process where I wanted to go ahead and give it a try, what I decided to do, what happened was that my wife was actually coming home from work, right? My wife was actually coming home from work, and she's actually sitting on the porch with me, guys, and she'll probably get mad at me if I put her on camera. Don't put you on camera? Why not? 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 Say hi. So my wife was actually coming home from work, right? Because this weight thing for her and I has been challenging, because we both come from an athletic background, right? Her father was a bodybuilder, a competitor, right? And actually, I'll show you a picture real quick. But he was a competitor, a bodybuilder or whatnot, competitive bodybuilding, and as you can see, he was ripped, and so she was into that stuff, so she knew what it takes, right? Not to get your body there, right? Me personally, I played a lot of basketball in my high school years and things like that, and so I've always been in tip-top shape. And so for us to be in this place of weight gain was kind of snuck up on us, and we didn't realize it, right? And so we've always tried to come up with ways to try to address it, but certain things just wasn't working, and it felt like it was just too much of a struggle, and it wasn't fitting our lifestyle. And so but she would come home from work and would say, hey, my client told me about this diet, told me about the ketogenic diet or whatever, and she was just like, and she's saying that it really works, and she was telling me things about it, and I was like, oh, okay, but my mind wasn't there, so I wasn't really interested, right? But she was actually planting those seeds in me, and because she was really, it was often that she would come home and talk about that ketogenic diet, and I think that she was gearing herself up too, and she was pretty excited about it. And by the way, my wife actually she's been on this ketogenic diet as well, this journey too, and she's lost some weight too, and in fact she reached her weight goal too. So it's just a lot of exciting things that's going on, but yeah, she would come home and plant those seeds. And so, but I wasn't activating it. I didn't execute. So what happened was that I was a musician at this one church, and I noticed that this guy just like dropped a whole bunch of weight, and I asked him, I said, "What are you doing, man?" I said, "How are you losing your weight?" And he was just like, "I'll be honest." He was like, "It's the ketogenic diet," and I was like, "Wow." Like, for real? I was like, how do you do it? I was like, tell me, right? Just like how people is doing me, right? They're asking me like, hey, how do you do it? Like, and it's not that simple that you could just tell somebody in a fly-by conversation type situation. So what I decided to do, So at that point, he told me, he was just like, yeah, I'll send you the information. He never sent it to me, by the way. Or did he send it to me? Did he? I take that back. You know what? He did send it to me. But it just still wasn't registering with me to go ahead and execute. It felt like it was too difficult, right? I thought about the ketogenic diet. I thought, okay, you got to measure stuff and things like that. And I was like, I don't want any parts of that, right? My life is too busy. I don't have time for that. You got to prep your meals and stuff. And so, and I was thinking of it all wrong. I really was. So years go by, and this year, 2022, I had already made up in my mind. Early in January, I told my wife, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and give this a try, this whole ketogenic diet. And all the while, I will be doing research, leading up to it, right? I was, doing research on, ketosis and things like that, and getting my facts and learning more about it so that I can execute it properly. And one of the reasons that really won me over is the fact that it has so many benefits, and I never heard this from another diet. So one of the things that won me over about the keto diet, and which is why I wanted to give it a try, is because after doing research, I found out that it has the ability to cure epilepsy and metabolic syndrome, glycogen storage disease, and some of this stuff I didn't know about, but polycystic ovary syndrome, diabetes, I knew that, type 2 in particular, some cancers, autisms, and Parkinson's, right? So that's pretty deep that this particular diet can cure all of that, right? And I was really stoked about that, and so which is why I actually wanted to go ahead and give it a try. So I saw that and I was like, wow, that blew my mind, right? And I'm going back to my wife like, did you know that? She was just like, yeah, I knew. That's why I was trying to tell you, right? And so I was like, wow. So, and believe you me, that was a lot of that going on in our conversation, because everything I was learning, I was going back, taking her. She was like, yeah, I read that already. So I just, you're late to the party. So that was one of the main things and the reason why I did. So then what I tried to do is what I started to do. I wanted to find out what it was, right? What exactly is the keto diet? So in short, basically putting your body in ketosis, or that's a whole nother video within itself. But I'll just tell you this, and then we'll cut it, and then we'll talk about putting your body into ketosis. But what the ketogenic diet is, what ketosis is, I should say, it's basically your body is probably running off of the fuel from carbohydrates and sugar. And so what happens is that those two things turns into glucose in your bloodstream or whatnot, and it raises your glucose levels, right? But it gives you also energy. But if your glucose levels are raised too much, then you start feeling sluggish and lethargic and sleepy. And black folks, we like to call it the itis, right? But typically that means that your glucose has risen to a level that's beyond what it should be. And so now you're going to go to sleep and things like that. And then which causes you to gain weight, right? So your body is running off of that fuel, right? But what ketosis is that your body actually running off of the fat storage, right? All of us, most people have fat storage. Those of us that are struggling with weight, that means that we have fat that we're storing in our bodies. And so the goal for ketosis is that you want to get to that fat and burn it. So instead of your body burning off of the energy of carbohydrates and sugar, which turns into glucose, right? It's gonna burn off of your fat storage, right? Now, get this. Study shows that the carbohydrate and sugar, which turns into glucose, right, which raises your glucose levels, and that's what our body and our brain works off of. But study shows that when you get into ketosis and use your fat storage as its energy, right, then your body is tapping into that fat, burning the fat, and using that as its energy. It's a healthier energy source. So you might be asking yourself, well, how do you get to that level and put your body into ketosis? So I'm going to give you, hopefully I can find this chart and I'll put it up for you. But basically on the chart, what it is that it's high fat that you want to take in, moderate protein, little to no carbs, and no sugar. But the larger percentage is focused on the fat, right? The reason why you want to take in more fat when you're eating is because what happens is that when you take in the more fat, your good fats, right, your saturated fats and things like that, what happens is that your body becomes more satiated. You're able to remain full for a longer period of time, allowing you to basically focus on eating when you're hungry, right? But you will notice that you'll be able to go longer and longer without eating. Why? Because you're focusing on the fat. You're taking in more fat, right? Your good, healthy fats, right? And you're taking that in. And so because you're taking that in, then your body is more satiated. You're able to feel full for longer periods of time, which causes you to eat less. On this diet, if you really, really want it to work for you, and I'm going to stop using that word diet. I'm just going to say, lifestyle change, because that's what we've been doing, right? But during this lifestyle change, you're going to want to start preparing yourself. And like I told you in video 1, to start eating less. Start eating less. You want to start putting your mindset in that mode, and as we go on, you'll realize why. But if you are if you are more satiated because you have taken in more fat, then that means that you're not going to be eating as much as you normally would, right? Which then allows your body to target the fat storage. Why? Because you're not putting more food into your body, because you're able to go without food for longer periods of time because you are more satiated, because you've taken in more fat. So that's basically what ketosis is, and that's as simple as it gets, right? So I'm gonna stop right there because I think that's a good place to stop. And what I want you to do is go ahead and start researching, right? There's a lot of great sources out there, especially on YouTube. I looked at Dr. Oz and things like that. Hold on, my neighbor's walking down the street on her cell phone yelling. But there are other resources out there. Dr. Oz was one of my main resources that I use, because he did a lot of videos and a lot of interviews on ketosis, and it was some helpful information that was there. But the next thing I did, I pulled up an Excel spreadsheet, and I just, I created some columns, and I started jotting down my healthy fats, right? Started jotting down the proteins that I could eat and things like that. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. I'll share with you what I did, and as far as like the actual food that I've been eating, and how I had it listed out. And once I became used to that list, then I was able to get a little fancy with it to create some variety, and that is the key. Well, I've heard a lot of people in the past say, well, I tried the keto diet and it didn't really work for me. I got sick and I got tired of eating the same thing. Well, that's where you're wrong, because really you shouldn't have to eat the same thing. Now after a while, after you created your variety, then you'll be circling those same meals, just like you circle the same meals on a weekly basis that you would normally feed yourself, right? You got your taco, you got taco night that you would probably do every week, and things like that. You still can have, most of these things that you have already, but it'll just be in keto form. So I can show you what I did, but and with my wife's help, we've been able to get a little bit, really, really into it, and you'll realize that it's not as, redundant, and monotonous as you think it is. So that's what I actually did to lose my weight. I dove into that particular lifestyle change, which is, the ketogenic diet, and it's been working out for me, and I love it. So we'll talk more and more about it because it is a lot of information to cover. So, but I highly recommend that you just start taking a dive in and seeing how that works for you. And so stay tuned with me and stay locked in, because in the next video, we're going to dive into ketosis a little bit more and more. I'm going to tell you a few items that you actually need to get you started. And then we'll dive into it a little bit more. All right. So thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys sharing the information. Comment if you will. Let me know if you enjoy the information or what's actually working for you, if you got any questions or whatnot, and we'll talk about it. All right. Until next time, we'll be back next week. See ya.